Well, it's that time of year. Spring has definitely sprung here in the Southern Hemisphere, and friend of the Farm Learning channel, Andrew Stanish, is here from Australian Bee Supplies. He's going to take us through what he recommends every apiarist should be doing at this time of year, what to look out for, and how to feed the bees. Andrew, how are you, mate?
I'm beautiful.
Oh, it's started already. Right, suited up, let's get going.
Hey Tim, with these girls, because they've got high genetics, very good bloodlines, effectively you don't need to wear a bee suit. A veil is recommended just in case someone flies in your throat by accident, but they are too calm for bee suits. You don't need it. I'll
take your word for that. Now take us through what we're going to do, mate.
Let's go. First thing, always have a smoker because it calms the girls down. They're not hurt by it, they enjoy it effectively, and it allows them to be more docile. So once we open her up, like this, you always want to be relatively gentle because you don't want to make any huge sudden movements. So we will crack the lid.
And it's always stuck down with a little bit of propolis this time of year?
Not only now, it's effectively all the time. They will always propolize it. Once they're finished, once you've closed it, they will propolize the lid, the frames and everything else.
Now there's only 2 boxes here because it's overwintered just with the 2 boxes. You take
Correct.
The super off in autumn.
Absolutely.
And if people want to see that process, it's already on the channel. They can click on the link at the end of this one.
So we crack open the frames first of all. We pull out the first frame.
You're checking the sides first, mate?
Yeah. We start on one side and continue through. So here you can see that we've got a lot of white honey, so this is relatively fresh honey, so fairly new, so it would be from this season. At the back they haven't filled anything, and this is what's called a small hive beetle. It's a little parasite that we don't particularly like, but yeah, they're quite common. You can live with them. So that's, I'll probably show you.
And a healthy hive will keep them under control, won't
Absolutely. The stronger the hive, they'll be able to chase them out. There's other techniques, but if you've got a strong hive, you don't need to worry about it. So I'll put that first frame on a perch on the side, just so it gets out the way, and then I can move all the frames across one by one to minimize disturbing the girls. So this one, pure honey, this is about 3.5 kilos. So if this was in the super, we'd be harvesting that. That is a very, very nice frame. That's all capped honey. So that will last for 1,000 years and it will not go off. So we'll go through that, put that back down. Let's go to the second frame. So the second frame will normally have some honey and it will have pollen and bee bread. So this is what they use to feed the babies. Here they're still drawing it out. So nothing there. We'll just pop it back in, move it down, crack open the next one. It's another heavy one, so now we're talking. So this is our brood. So generally speaking, let's put it up the right way. So the brood pattern sits like that, and these are worker bees, so there'll be the girls being born, well, will be born. Up here, the ones that are sticking out, those are drones, so those are the boys. So we can comfortably see that we're coming into spring because she's producing boys, which means that in some cases they'll swarm, in other cases they'll go out and help other beehives to fertilize the queen. On the other side, again, well, we're looking at a perfect brood pattern. That's exactly what we're looking. That sort of half moon is ideal. So normally what they do over winter is they will go through the bottom box and they'll eat through all the resources in there, all the honey and pollen, and then they'll move up and stay in the top box because they know that hot air rises, so they prefer to go up top and be in the warmth. Again, this is absolutely stunning. So for this time of year, that's a very, very healthy brood pattern. Normally at this time of year, you'll have probably about maybe this much, like half an orange, and then she'll start laying slowly. They're flying around, they're going, "Oh, Andrew, what are you doing?" They're not angry or aggro, but they're just going, "What's happening here?" So we give them another little tiny puff. It doesn't have to be too much. If you puff them too much, they'll get smoke in their throats and they can get a little bit narky, but look at that. So this is the big difference between F1 queens or high genetic queens, high bloodlines, where these brood patterns will be effectively traveling through all the frames with brood in them. Same on the other side. That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Okay, we'll do that. Next. Hello. Come on. Let's do another puff of smoke for them. Oh no, they're starting to get a little bit knocky. I think I'll sit up now.
Okay.
And we'll give them a little bit of a shake. So we'll go shake. That clears most of them. We'll pop that to the side and go another shake. And this doesn't hurt them. They are absolutely resilient. They are tough as guts. Like that. And even when you shake them, they won't get angry. They just go, oh my God, what happened there? We got to go downstairs now and do a little bit of work. And again. Bang, last one. And now this box here still has a lot of girls in it, as you can see. So what you can do is you can give them a shake, but normally I prefer to just give them a little bit of a brush. In, 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 and we brush them off the sides. They know that the brood is downstairs, so they will go straight down to help the girls to look after the babies. And bang. So that's practically empty. We'll put our frames back in because we want everything nice and tidy. And then we'll be able to put this away in our shed or our garage, and we'll keep it. And I'll show you in a week's time, we'll do checkerboarding, which effectively that's the primary way of stopping swarming. So I will put all our bits and pieces on top. There, and we'll grab those two. Come on girls, shoo, get out, 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 out. Thank you, that's better. That one there. Oops, that's the wrong, that one doesn't belong here. We'll pop that there. And we put our lid on. That there. We'll put our M-lock on, like this. So we'll lock it up so they're nice and tight. So if there was severe wind, or if a dog or a cow or a zebra runs into it, it's not going to effectively open up the hive and knock them off. Alrighty, one last one. Alright Tim, so that's it for this week. And what we'll do is we'll open up next week and have a look and see what's happening. If everything's going to plan and there's no swarming cells, we'll put that second box on, and we'll also do checkerboarding. Okay, here Tim, here we are, so we're a week later. What we're going to do now is we're going to open up that box, see what's happening in those frames, put on that second box, checkerboard them, and then that will stop them from swarming. So let's go.
So that second box that you've got right there, that's the box we put in the shed last week, and it would have emptied out from bees now?
Correct.
So we're reusing the same box, we've just swapped it from the bottom to the top now?
Yep, absolutely. So the advantage of doing that is because you've already got drawn comb, yes, it's much quicker for the girls. So they can actually start working on those and effectively start collecting and making babies.
So it's like feeding them?
Yep, absolutely. So here we go. We'll give them a little puff.
Now, if there's no drawn comb in that bottom box, if it's totally empty, you would consider feeding them?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
All
so
right.
There's different procedures for feeding, whether it's when they're hungry or whether you want them to lay more brood. We'll go through that a little bit later. Let's just do the checkerboarding for the time being. Here we go. So we open up our little beehive. Bang. Pop that there. Crack. We'll pop this down. Let's do it this way. Whoops. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is I'll check what's happening in the center. So normally you can go through the whole thing, but once you get a little bit more experience, you can just check 2 or 3 frames and they'll be sufficient. So the first thing you do is check the outside frames. Yep, we got lots of honey and enough space to put honey in. I will take this one out because we're going to checkerboard that one. And
so you're going to move that one that's got a little bit of honey in it up to the top box.
Yeah, that's right, and one of the ones which has just drawn a frame, drawn wax in there, we'll put it down the bottom. Okay. So we will check that last frame as well, because normally they have the least amount of resources. This one's pretty full, but we'll work around it. So we'll pop that here. And then we just check the brood frames. So we'll have, I know this is going to be a absolutely chockers brood frame. So this is what we want. All right, so what we'll do now, this is where the trick is. Well, it's not a trick. We grab a couple of frames from the top box, which should be ideally pretty much empty. That one's got some bee bread in it. So we'll go, let's go, come here, open up. So this one's empty, perfect. And this one, oh yeah, this one will work. And I'll pop this down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this one ready to put in those brood frames for effectively our checkerboarding. The idea with checkerboarding is, so you put the empty frames to the bottom box and the full frames of brood to the top box, and that kind of confuses them. So effectively the queen will go, oh, what's happening? There's no brood down here. We need to start laying eggs and make brood and draw comb. And she'll go, hey, nurse bees, go up, look after the girls, because you have to look after the girls.
So we're moving the kids upstairs.
You got it, you got it. Here we go.
So now you're taking brood out of the center of that box?
Yep. So if you want to come and have a look, I'll show you. So what we normally want to do is do something like this frame, leave one, and this frame. So we'll take that center one, which has heaps of brood on there. We'll pop it over here.
Putting it towards the center of that,
yep,
what was the bottom box?
Correct. And now we can put one of these empty frames in there. And even if it has bee bread or pollen, that's not a problem because they'll move it all around.
Right. Bees
move pollen and bread and all that stuff around all the time.
So you're putting the empty frame in the middle and that'll spark the queen into laying more?
It will make her look after the brood. Laying more is a slightly different, it involves feeding, which we'll do in a second. Okay. So that's another beautiful frame. We pop this little sucker in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We squish them together. Make sure that the spacing on the outside is even. And now we'll get, this is our honey frame, so we'll put it on the outside. And now we'll put an empty frame around here. And I know there's heaps of brood in here as well. I'll show you, like that. So we'll put one of these empty frames right there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So by putting empties next to brood, you get more brood quicker?
Correct. And it stops them from wanting to swarm because they've got something to do and they're not bored. The concept of swarming is equivalent to having a 2-bedroom house with 5 kids. So all of a sudden you go, hey kids, out. But if you've got a 5-bedroom house with 5 kids, yeah, you can tolerate it. Bees are very similar. So we'll grab this box here. And because we always put it on the lid or something solid, even if the queen was to drop out, we're not going to lose her. If you just put it straight on the grass, you can do something crazy like that, and you can squish her, and then you could be in all sorts of strife. So we put this back up on top. And the girls aren't angry, they're flying around because we're playing with their house. If they were angry, they'd be attacking the veil and going crazy. But yeah, now these girls are generally very, very gentle. Grab a lid, propolis collector, queen excluder straight on, and there we go. Now the interesting thing is, I don't know how the second hive is going to be looking, but bees have personalities. So one beehive can do things one way, another one will do it totally differently. So it'll be actually quite fascinating once we open up whether they're the same or not, even though they're both the same genetics. There we go. Just straighten it up a bit. So that's hive number 1.